Hey guys, welcome back to Now Reading with Bud Gaines. This is Prelude to Vortex of Souls. We are in Chapter 3, page 53 of the hardback, starting at a dark cloaked figure revealed himself. And I will begin right there. Sorry for the delay in videos. I have been looking for new jobs and stuff since I lost my previous one. And yeah, I'm going to start on page 53 at a dark cloaked figure revealed himself from the shadows and smirked. And that's where I'll begin in just a moment. A dark figure revealed himself from the shadows and smirked. You have good sense, Amane. Not many would have known I was there. Your skills of perceptions are leagues better than I expected. Who are you? Amane asked. Just a sorcerer who likes watching you, he replied. That's creepy. Amane looked around. Where are they? He asked upon not seeing anybody nearby. Oh, there's no one in this room. I'm just holding you captive in dark energy, testing your spiritual stamina. I need you to get stronger than you are. Only one such as yourself can dare to challenge me, and I'll push you as hard as I can. When the time comes, I'll destroy you. Then if I remove you from our world first, you're not a sorcerer, you're the sorcerer, Amane stated coldly but also in a bewildered manner. Like I said, leagues more than I expected. You've done well to figure out who I was quickly. I'm going to orchestrate this entire thing for you to get stronger, he replied with confidence and a sense of assurance. Stop! I don't want to fight my family. I'll get stronger without this, Amane shouted at him. No, this is way more fun. I've seen the future of your power. This is the only way, he retorted. The only way. Toshiro thought to himself, what is Amane talking about? He was so focused at this point because he didn't feel anything different besides what everyone else had noticed. What was so different about Amane's abilities in comparison to those around them? He had so many questions about what was going on. The fogginess subsided and the room was full of people. They walked right into the trap that was set. The dark cloud looming over them was only going to get worse from here, and now Amane knew why. They were all being manipulated. You killed Junchiro, someone yelled. We want you removed from power, another shouted. Kill them, another spoke out. I didn't kill anyone, Fujimoto added. Liar, a person yelled out. Stop, Amane shouted. You're all being manipulated by the sorcerer. Whispers of the sorcerer spread quickly, but no one cared. Some even accused him of working with him. No one wanted to believe anything. This entire situation had become a lost cause with only one imminent path before them. Amane's head began hurting more as he heard a voice. No one will believe I was to blame. No one has actually seen me for years. Now you won't remember either. Amane fell to the ground from a standing position, his father hovering over him and asking him if he's okay, but there was no response. Toshiro, quickly, take him to the back room, Toshin spoke. Yes, sir. He lifted him up, pulled him back. Damn, this armor is heavy, Toshiro shouted as he pulled Amane slowly. Now listen up, Fujimoto said angrily and annoyed with the entire situation. I didn't kill Junchiro, and I don't know who did. If we're going to settle this, let's get out of our city and head to the fields where there's nothing. I don't want any civilian casualties, and I don't want our homes ruined. I back that plan, Sage followed. As do I, Toshin added. If you want to fight, get out of our city. Agreed. We'll leave the city, and then we'll kill Fujimoto, their new representative spoke. We'll form an army and come after you, another guy stood up. Then we'll form one to protect him. We have a war on our hands, Fujimoto stated somberly. A civil war within your clan, Sage added. This isn't good for anyone. Tomorrow, you will pack your stuff and prepare for battle. I didn't want this, but it's inevitable. Say goodbye to your loved ones, since some of us won't be coming back, Fujimoto sighed and turned his back on everyone heading out the door. Fujimoto, your son. I'll go in the back entrance, he replied. Toshiro made to the back room finally after hauling Amane across the floor. He was breathing hard and a bit ragged, more surprised he managed to get that far without hurting himself. What was the purpose of him wearing this heavy armor? How did this armor work? What did it do for him? When did Amane get so strong? Was it because of the armor? Toshiro began thinking to himself. What would it take for me to get stronger? Is there something that you could teach me? He said, looking downward towards Amane. The dark fog covered the room as time almost stood still within it. What's with this feeling again? Toshiro thought to himself. Was he picking it up now as he had experienced it before, or was it just letting him feel it? You want to be stronger? A voice said from within the darkness. I can feel your desire to be stronger. Who are you? Toshiro asked. That doesn't matter. What does matter is that I can make you stronger, the voice replied. On the floor, passed out, Amane was beginning to burn up. Sweat dripped from all over his visible body, and he was squirming in pain. What's going on with him? What are you doing to my friend? Toshiro pleaded with the voice. I'm not doing anything. He's awakening, and in time, so will you, Toshiro, the voice responded. What do you mean, awakening? Toshiro questioned the voice. Do you not feel it? The cold across your body, the heat disappears from your skin. Your powers will awaken in time. Your mind is unprepared for the frozen glory that is your powers. Your opposite lies before you. Your better half, the voice replied. Toshiro paused and focused on certain phrases that were said specifically. Your better half. Was the voice telling him that Amane was always going to be better than him? Was there any reason to get stronger? Seeds of doubt had begun entering Toshiro's mind. I have no reason to believe anything you say, Toshiro shouted. My proof lies before you on the ground, convulsing and heating up, sweat running all over his body. Your proof of self is all you need. Look at your hands, the voice responded. Toshiro looked down to see his hands had changed to a light shade of blue. Startled from this realization, he started trying to heat his hands up by rubbing them together. That is not going to help. It's natural. It's within you. Soon enough, your body will change with it. Could be hours, could be months, could be years. Try to enjoy yourself, Toshiro. The voice sneered as it faded from his mind and the fog lifted. Toshiro shouted, "Who are you?" But the voice was already gone from his mind as the fog dissipated around him. Confused and somewhat hurt by the fact that someone didn't think he could be as good as a friend, instead of being angry, he tried to remain calm and remembered that Amane didn't feel that way at all and even thought they could both be better. However, he couldn't ignore what the voice said regarding the powers that were coming to him. Amane was still out on the floor as his mind traveled freely from thought to thought. In the encounters with the sorcerer, he was the old man. He was the figure who stabbed Sage, which he based on the feeling Sage mentioned. He was the clouded darkness who actually killed Junjiro. Why was Amane so important to him? What was he trying to accomplish that he couldn't do on his own as strong as he was? Something didn't add up, and Amane couldn't figure it out either. Waiting, Toshiro began pacing around the back room. Finally, after several minutes of silence, then hearing the arguing stop outside, and within his own mind, the back door opened. There stood Fujimoto with Sage and his father, each of them with a concerned yet somber look on their faces. "How's he doing?" Fujimoto asked with concern. "He's burning up and sweating, but he hasn't budged much besides convulsions," Toshiro responded while keeping quiet about what happened in his mind when they were busy. Sweat trickled down his face as he hid what happened from them. "He doesn't look so good," Fujimoto stated. You're right. Almost like he's being burned up from the inside," Toshin added as his eyes shifted to Toshiro before heading back to Fujimoto. "I don't know what to do. Maybe Jade will know," Fujimoto responded. Toshiro nodded in agreement. "Mothers know best, right?" "That they do," Toshin added quietly. "Can you get him home?" Sage asked with concern. "I think so. He's light enough, and this was my armor before. I know the tricks," Fujimoto replied. "Hope he feels better soon," Toshiro stated. "I'll pass along your sentiment when he wakes up." Fujimoto lifts up Amane onto his shoulder. "Okay, maybe he's slightly heavier than I expected." Shook it lightly and turned toward Toshiro. "Thanks for watching him for me. I owe you one, Toshiro. I appreciate your help and concern. You're a good friend." He placed his hand on his shoulder and smiled at him. "Thank you." Toshiro blushed in embarrassment and smiled awkwardly. "It's not a problem. He's my friend after all." The group split up and headed their separate ways for today. Fujimoto took Amane back home and began preparing for war. Sage headed back to his own home to rest, still recovering from his injury. Toshiro and Toshin began their walk back to their house, which wasn't too far away from where they were. Toshin had slowed his pace down to match Toshiro so they could talk along the way. He had questions for him after noticing how he was acting in the meeting chamber's back room. "What happened while you were in there? I saw your face dripping sweat as you told us nothing was going on except him convulsing," Toshin stated in a stern voice. Nervously, Toshiro sighed at the question. There was no way to keep things from his father. "I was spoken to." Toshin looked at him with narrowed eyes. "By who?" he demanded to know. "I don't know, just a voice. It said a lot with a little time." Toshiro spoke low so only his father could hear him. "What did it say?" "That myself and Amane are awakening. He was burning up and I am freezing. My skin is turning pale blue, my body temperature is dropping internally," Toshiro added. "You're becoming a cryomancer like your ancestor, Aurora," Toshin said with a smile. The genes for cryomancy were in his child, and it was something he was happy about. Thought crossed his mind on who he received them from, but something inside of him said it was a gift from Iceland. "Really?" Toshiro said, surprised. "Wait, that should have been obvious to me. The voice said I wasn't ready for the frozen glory of my powers." "We have training to do, son," Toshin stated. "I'm ready," he said aloud and thought. "I'll be better than Amane. I'll prove that voice wrong." After they made it home, Toshiro headed straight to bed, thinking about the events of today. He was exhausted and worn out from everything they did and what happened. He skipped a bath and decided sleep was more important. As he slept, his body began changing. Cold air was rising from him as he slept. Water vapor was freezing and hitting the ground like hail. His skin had gone pale blue as his room became frigid like his body. Toshin watched him from a distance, unable to get close due to freezing of everything. His son was going through a metamorphosis that hadn't been seen in decades. He was proud of him and concerned for his life. If this was his destiny, he'd see it through along with him. Days had passed and Amane had finally woken up back at home, his mother watching over him. Everything just seemed like a dream now. What happened was the question he wanted to know the answer to. "Morning, Amane," Jade spoke softly, seeing her child wake up for the first time in days. "Hey, Mom. What happened?" Amane asked. "You passed out from exhaustion," she replied. "I don't remember that happening or anything after meeting that guy at the door," he added. You have a loss of time. Maybe it'll return to you. As for now, you should start your practice," his mother stated. "Yes, Mother. Wait, where's Dad?" he asked. "Your father is out fighting in the war. He's been gone for 3 days," she replied with concern and sadness in her voice. "Now go train and put your armor on." "Yes, ma'am," Amane replied and did as she asked as he headed out for his morning training. A day after Amane woke up, Toshiro had as well and was back on his feet. His icy blue eyes now turned into a frost white with a hint of blue. The room had returned to normal as his powers awakened partially but not fully. They were getting stronger, but he didn't have the stimulant to activate them completely. He walked from his room to the living room area and saw his father. How long has it been? Several days, my son. It seems like it takes some time. He got up and hugged Toshiro. Had me worried for a bit since I couldn't get close to you at all. Your room was frozen over entirely. All I could do was wait for you. I'm very glad to see you back up again. Toshiro hugged his father back. That explains why I'm so hungry. We'll get you some food. A feast for my son, Toshin spoke. Are you going to cook? Toshiro asked, confused. Hey, I was quite the cook in my youth, I'll have you know. Now watch and be amazed as I show you the culinary training that I endured at your age, Toshin said with a large smile as he stood up. Toshiro stepped back in surprise and wasn't sure what to say about that. Don't give me that look. I'll whip you up a feast in no time. Toshin walked into the kitchen and started rummaging around looking for his special set of knives. He reached into several cabinets and moved things around, making as much noise as he could as he set up pots and pans on the wood stoves in the kitchen. Aha! Toshin shouted as he pulled a rolled up set of knives out from the very back of the cabinet. Unrolling, he revealed his customized utensils and laid them on the counter. With these tools, I will cook you a feast fit for a clan head. Toshiro sighed to himself and just watched. His father was going crazy as he started cooking for him. The heat in the kitchen was making him sweat, and he was moving so fast it was as if he was in a battle. To Toshin, he was in a battle. A battle in the kitchen. Ingredients pulled out everywhere. Fruits, vegetables, meats, noodles, bread. He had an assortment of ingredients to work with, and he was going to use as many as he could. Toshiro sat down at the table and just waited while he watched the show his father was putting on. Within the hour, Toshin had a feast cooked up and laid out on the table. This was an entirely different side than he was used to from seeing his father. Seeing this made him wonder how much of a better cook his mom was than his dad, if his dad could cook like this. Toshin sat down at the table with his son and spoke confidently. Enjoy your feast. After this, we train. Yes, sir, Toshiro replied excitedly. As they began eating, Toshin decided to fill Toshiro in on what happened during the time he was out. The Fuseishutsu Civil War had officially begun. While you were asleep, the Fuseishutsu clan went to war with each other. The outskirts of town and into the fields has not been a pretty sight for anyone to see. Amane woke up just yesterday after whatever was going on with him. He's back at training as well, and according to his mother, plans to go out to war with his father, Toshin stated. I'm glad he's awake after that. I wasn't sure if he was going to make it out of that whole thing with the way his temperature was fluctuating. It's pretty terrifying to watch. Toshiro sighed. I knew he'd want to join in as soon as you said they went to war. He's been training like crazy lately. Don't let that get you down, Toshiro. A lot can change during your training. Amane has a head start, but you can catch up with time. Toshin placed his fork on his plate. You see that armor he wears enhances his spiritual abilities, which is something that runs in his family line. You can't mimic that training. It'll boost power and speed to a high level at the cost of your mobility while wearing it. It puts you in a lot of danger if you can't raise your spiritual level to its max while using it. Exhaustion can make the entire thing worse because you won't have strength at all, Toshin explained as detailed as he could. Toshiro sighed in relief. I don't think I could do that anyway. I don't know anything about spiritual power. Toshin chuckled. You will in time. Ask Amane for advice when you can. Fujimoto could also teach you something about it, but there's no telling when you'll see him again and if you'll see him again. He said the last part, concerned and confused about the fate of his lifelong friend. Do you think he'll make it? Toshiro asked quietly. I believe in him, but war does things to people. He'd also give up his own life to save as many people as he could. He'd jump in front of a sword to stop others from being hurt, Toshin explained. He's a real savior, I see. Toshiro responded, even quieter than before. For the next couple hours, they sat at the table and ate the food that Toshin had prepared for them. This was the last day Toshiro was going to have a normal life with his father. The new normal was going to be training most of the time, together. After seeing this, he may even learn new culinary skills to go with his hobby of drawing. That all just depended on what his father made him learn during their training. And that is the end of chapter 3. Sorry it's been so delayed. I'm going to try to get a few more of these recorded so they can go up. That ended on page 64. We're getting ramped up. The next chapter is chapter 4, the Fuseishutsu Civil War. And we're getting into like the darker parts coming up. And I hope it's going to be fun for everybody. I enjoy it. If you enjoy these videos, let me know. I like recording them when I can. And I hope I can get some stuff going with it. I would love for these books to be read more. I had a blast writing them. Prelude was fun to write, but I had much more fun writing the next book in its entire glory. It took me a year, but you know, that's not what we're here to talk about. That's about it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you guys in the next video.